What's up, everybody? We got our Massive Nerdy Week going with the first 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord, and we got Daredevil, Invincible, and the boys on deck. Before I get into these episodes, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's the easiest way to support, so thank you. Now let's dive in. The show got started with Rook Cast, some of her Mandalorians, and a pair of Zabrak brothers on the Janix system. That planet's in the mid-rim of the galaxy. Think like the Toydaria section where Watto's from. We saw a few Republic missions out there during the Clone Wars. Yoda and the clones, they were there early on. They saw Ventress. Jar Jar, he was there later during that Ryloth blockade arc with Jedi Master Ima-Gun, another Filoni gem of a name, and those are the two that came to mind for me. If I left anything out, remind me down in the comments below. But Maul made his entrance as his gang returned to their ship, and it's simply magnificent. They mixed Duel of Fates in to introduce this newer version, this fiercer version of the Clone Wars animation made for Maul, just like when that John Williams magic hit and he was introduced back in '99, and he changed the lightsaber game for good. There's no going back for me, especially with the bleeding saber piece of this upgraded look. Then after the credits, we jump to a Jedi Master and his apprentice. She's obviously a Twi'lek. Her name is Devon Azara, but her master, Eeko-Dio, which again, Filoni showing you why George brought him into this world, why he chose him to be his apprentice. He's a new species called Mozik. I remember seeing that on Twitter before the show, but I also saw a Lucasfilm mention some timeline stuff that doesn't make all that much sense with some of the dialogue we get in these episodes, but I'll get to that in just a second. First, we got to meet a couple more newcomers for Shadow Lord. This is another gang that Maul worked with in the past, or maybe more specifically, a gang that was associated with the Pikes when they were part of the Shadow Syndicate, and I believe the boss here, Demas, is just a fat member of the Grand Race. He's got 2 Trandoshans, and again, this one I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm pretty sure that the alien behind those two was an Aqualish. It was kind of tough to tell for me though, so if you thought he was another species, another alien, let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, let's get back to the main man Maul, because that's who we're here for. He senses Devon, the young Twi'lek Jedi on the planet Janix, and he believes that she's meant to be his apprentice. This is where Dave is writing another thank you to his mentor, to all of our mentors. George Lucas, his original sequel trilogy was going to see Maul and his Twi'lek apprentice, Darth Talon, challenging the galaxy with Leia at the center. There was even talk that Leia was going to be the chosen one. But like I said, we got to talk about the timeline of this show now, because there's some issues. We're being told one thing by the show and another by Lucasfilm, unless I'm just wrong, which, to be fair, is very possible. In the show, Lawson said that he hasn't seen a laser sword, a lightsaber, since the war, and it feels like that's been at least a couple of years with the dialogue. But the problem is that Lucasfilm said that this was set a year after the Republic became the Empire. I'm hoping that this was just, something they missed once they decided when the show was taking place. Getting back to the Fatty Grand though, because it all revolves around Maul, at the end of the day, he meets with the other boss who betrayed him, Ludi Vario. This little guy's in Alina, and we met his species in that 3PO R2 centered arc in the Clone Wars Season 4, but his getup also reminded me of that Gen-Dai bounty hunter from Jedi Survivor. They're not the same species, but I think you get the point. Regardless, I thought this scene of Rook trying to get Maul to stay on the careful path featured my favorite version of him. I'd say it's peak Maul, but it's when he's got that delusion about a goal. It's so damn good. Vario name drops his old group too, to Lawson, the Shadow Syndicate that featured the Pikes, the Black Sun, the Hutts, Crimson Dawn, and a few other organizations. We saw the formation of that in the Clone Wars Season 5. We saw him again in Season 7 when Maul took Mandalore and when he was on Mandalore, and now some of them are on his list. The first episode came to a close with Maul and his gang attacking police headquarters on Janix, and he's got 2 goals. Lawson shows a decent effort, but he's severely outmatched in this fight as a criminal group blasted and slashed their way through the building. Maul grabs Vario, dealing with his past, and then he feels his future in the cell across from his old ally, taking her with him too. Before I move on to the second episode, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the breakdown so far. It's going to be a fun stretch with these 4 shows in the next couple of weeks, but for now, let's get back to Maul. The second half of this premiere got right into the gang's escape from police headquarters, and they're interrupted by Master Diodaki. Maul's not interested in the distraction though, using those Jedi morals as cover to get away. The 2 Jedi here are very much aware of Maul. They recognize him because they're temple trained. However, there's there's different degrees to how the master and the apprentice recognized him that were explained, at least for me, in a later scene that I'll get to towards the end of the video. For now, Maul's going after the Pikes first. That's why I needed Vario alive. Well, that, and I think he was trying to look like he had a soft edge. No, no, not a soft edge. Like he only used brute force when necessary in front of Devon to make his first impression. Then I think we saw a female Natolin when Lawson goes to his informant, who's also his mistress, or maybe he's divorced. I don't know. It's not clear what his family situation is. All I know is that she didn't have Kit Fisto's luscious locks, but to me, she looks like the female version of their species. Either way, that brings me to the moment that separated the knowledge of the master and the apprentice for me. I just thought it was interesting that, Devon only really heard stories of Maul because we know that he was one of the training programs at the temple. It doesn't matter much if she was there or not for the stories. Every Jedi would hear about the Sith who marked the return by leaving a hole in Qui-Gon on Naboo, but I think these two Jedi might have been out in the mid-rim for most of her life, kind of in the Quinlan Voss style of being a Jedi. That's just speculation, though. We'll see how much they want to tell us about their past here in the show, but we know for sure that we're getting a lot of Maul cleaning up his as he attacks the Pikes to begin his true path of revenge, one that leads right where you'd expect it to, Sidious. I know I mentioned it earlier and gave the bleeding saber animation and just all the animation from these episodes some praise, but I genuinely can't do it enough. It's my favorite bits from the Clone Wars with amazing additions and a fine touch. When Maul and the gang returned from their mission, he gave Devon one more lecture and baited her into escaping. He was trying to do it since he got her back to his base, and there's probably two reasons. One, he wants her to lead him to Eeko-Dio, but I actually think an Inquisitor might get to him first, and that feeds into the second reason. He wants her open to his ideas, open to his teaching, so that she shall be known as Darth Talon, and let me tell you, I saw a little Star Killer in her during that escape. I really enjoyed these two episodes. Sam Witwer just instantly proves why he deserved his own show. His voice acting is second to few, but most importantly, I can't wait to see Dave bring George's plans for the Menace to life, sort of giving us, some more sequels before the sequels, like the Mandoverse. With this show being renewed for season 2, it feels so good being excited about Star Wars again. And so that's going to do it for my breakdown of the first 2 episodes from Maul, Shadow Lord. I want to know what you guys thought about the premiere, so let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss my coverage for the rest of the season. Smash that like button on your way out and make sure you have a great day.